Welcome back to Smart Garden, fellow green thumbs. Today, we're diving into one of my absolute favorite gardening secrets that's going to revolutionize how you think about growing peppers. If you've ever looked at your thriving pepper plant and wished you could magically multiply it without spending another dime at the nursery, you're in for a treat. What I'm about to share with you will have you propagating pepper plants like a pro, creating an army of productive plants from just one healthy mother plant. From pod to pot. Why propagate? Let me paint you a picture that probably sounds familiar. You walk into your local garden center, see those beautiful pepper seedlings, and your heart sinks a little when you see the price tags. $4 here, $6 there, and suddenly you've spent $50 on what could have been free. Or maybe you're like I used to be, starting seeds indoors only to watch half of them fail to germinate or succumb to damping off disease. The frustration is real, and the waste of both money and time can be disheartening. Here's where propagation becomes, well, your gardening superpower. When you propagate pepper plants from cuttings, you're basically cloning your best performers. That pepper plant that's been producing like crazy all season, you can actually create exact genetic copies of it, guaranteeing the same vigor, disease resistance, and productivity. Unlike growing from seed, where you might get genetic variations that just don't perform as well as the parent plant, propagation gives you consistency and reliability every single time. The financial benefits alone should have you excited. One healthy pepper plant can provide you with dozens of cuttings throughout the growing season. Just imagine turning your single jalapeno plant into 10 plants next year, or propagating that prize-winning habanero that's been the envy of your neighborhood. You'll be shocked how easy this is, even if you consider yourself to have a black thumb. The techniques I'm about to share require no special equipment, no greenhouse, and certainly no advanced horticultural degree. The great snip choosing and cutting your cuttings. Success in pepper propagation starts with selecting the right cutting material, and this is where many beginners go wrong. You want to look for healthy, vigorous stems that are neither too young and soft, nor too old and woody. The sweet spot is semi-hardwood stems that have some flexibility but aren't completely green and floppy. These stems should be about pencil thickness and come from the current year's growth. Here's a crucial detail that most guides avoid stems that are currently flowering or setting fruit. While it might seem logical to take cuttings from your most productive branches, flowering stems are putting all their energy into reproduction rather than root development. Instead, look for healthy vegetative growth that's actively growing but not yet committed to flowering. The ideal cutting length is between 4 to 6 inches, giving you enough material to work with while not overwhelming the cutting's ability to support itself during the rooting process. Pay special attention to the nodes along the stem. These are the slightly swollen areas where leaves emerge. These nodes are where your new roots will develop, so you want at least 2 to 3 nodes on each cutting. When you make your cut, be sure to use clean, sharp pruning shears or a razor blade that's been sanitized with rubbing alcohol. Make your cut at a 45-degree angle just below a node, which, by the way, creates more surface area for root development and also helps to prevent water from sitting on top of the cut surface. Remove the lower leaves from your cutting, leaving only the top 2 to 4 leaves. This helps reduce water loss while the plant is working on establishing roots. Now comes the exciting part where you get to choose your propagation adventure. Both water and soil methods have their advantages, and I'll walk you through both so you can decide which works better for your situation and preferences. The water method is incredibly satisfying because, well, you get to watch the entire rooting process unfold right before your eyes. Just fill a clean glass jar with room temperature water and place your prepared cuttings so that the bottom 2 inches are submerged while the leaves stay above the water. The key to success with water propagation is really about maintaining water quality and oxygen levels. Change the water every 3 to 5 days or, whenever it starts to look cloudy. This helps prevent bacterial buildup that can rot your cuttings before they even have a chance to root. Place your water-rooted cuttings in bright, indirect light. A north-facing window is perfect for this. Direct sunlight can actually stress the cuttings and cause the water to heat up too much. You should start seeing tiny white root nubs appearing within 1 to 2 weeks and substantial root development within 4 to 6 weeks. The beautiful thing about water propagation is that you can see exactly when your cuttings are ready for transplanting, which really takes the guesswork out of the process. Soil propagation, on the other hand, creates stronger, more resilient root systems from the start. Mix equal parts quality potting soil, perlite, and coconut coir or peat moss to create a well-draining but moisture-retentive medium. Plant your cuttings about 2 inches deep, making sure at least one node is buried in the soil. Firm the soil gently around the cutting and water thoroughly until water drains from the bottom of the container. The secret sauce for faster rooting lies in creating the ideal environment. Bottom heat is incredibly helpful. You can use a seedling heat mat set to around 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or, honestly, just place your containers on top of your refrigerator where the motor creates gentle warmth. Covering your cuttings with a clear plastic bag, or placing them in a humidity dome, maintains the high humidity levels that encourage root development while preventing excessive water loss through the leaves. Nurturing your new natives after propagation is super important. The transition period after your cuttings have developed roots is critical and really requires a gentle touch. Water-rooted cuttings need special attention during transplanting because water roots are more delicate than soil-developed roots. When transplanting from water to soil, choose a small container at first. Oversized pots can lead to waterlogged soil and root rot. Use the same well-draining soil mix I mentioned earlier and plant carefully, trying not to damage those fragile new roots. Alright, so for the first week after transplanting, you'll want to keep your new plants in bright, indirect light and maintain consistent moisture without waterlogging. It's important to watch for signs of transplant shock such as wilting or yellowing leaves. Don't worry too much, as this is normal and usually resolves within a few days as the plant adjusts to its new environment. If wilting persists, you can increase humidity around the plant by placing a clear plastic bag over it for a few days, and then remove it gradually as the plant establishes itself. Young pepper plants have specific nutritional needs that differ from mature plants. Start with a diluted, balanced fertilizer at quarter strength once you see new growth appearing, which indicates the plant has successfully established its root system. Avoid the temptation to over-fertilize, as young plants can be easily burned by too much nutrition too quickly. As your plants grow stronger, you can gradually increase both light levels and fertilizer strength. Pest prevention is crucial during this vulnerable stage. Keep your propagated plants away from other houseplants initially to prevent pest transfer, and inspect them regularly for common issues like aphids or spider mites. A weekly gentle shower with lukewarm water can help prevent pest buildup while also providing the humidity that young pepper plants appreciate. Alright, so, as your propagated pepper plants mature and develop strong root systems, you can start integrating them into your main garden or container setup. The really cool thing about having multiple plants from the same parent is that you get to experiment with different growing conditions to see what works best in your specific environment. Maybe try some in full sun and others in partial shade, or, test out different container sizes to really optimize your space. The long-term payoff of pepper propagation honestly goes way beyond just having more plants. You're actually creating a sustainable cycle, where each successful plant can become a mother plant for future propagation, basically giving you an endless supply of your favorite pepper varieties. This is especially valuable if you love heirloom or specialty varieties that can be, pretty expensive or tough to find as seeds. Consider the social aspect of your newfound propagation skills as well. Extra plants make wonderful gifts for fellow gardeners, and there's something deeply satisfying about sharing plants you've grown yourself. You might even find yourself becoming the neighborhood pepper plant supplier, building community connections through your gardening expertise. Don't limit yourself to just peppers either. The techniques you've learned here work beautifully with tomatoes, herbs like basil and oregano, and many other garden favorites. Each plant family has its own quirks and timing, but the fundamental principles remain the same. There you have it, my fellow smart garden enthusiasts. Your complete guide to multiplying your pepper plants without spending a penny more than you already have. If this guide has inspired you to try propagation, or if you have success stories to share, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more money-saving, harvest-boosting gardening tips, and share this video with anyone who could use more peppers in their life. Until next time, keep growing smart.